June 21st, 1944, 2:17 a.m. over the Philippine Sea, west of Saipan. The night is thick and heavy. Clouds drift low, hiding the moon. Engines rumble in the dark, not loud, just steady and controlled. Inside an American fighter, red lights glow over dials and switches. The pilot grips the stick. Behind him, the radar operator leans toward the screen. A faint blip appears, then another. Enemy aircraft. Somewhere ahead. Below them, the ocean is black and endless. Above them, nothing but darkness. A shadow cuts across the clouds, fast and silent. The pilot pushes the throttle forward. The engines answer with a deep growl. Wind rattles the canopy as the fighter climbs. The radar blip grows brighter. Distance closes fast. 2,000 yards, 1,000. The radar operator whispers, "Contact dead ahead." The pilot steadies his hands. He cannot see the enemy yet. He trusts the instruments. For a split second, moonlight flashes off metal wings. The enemy bomber crew never hears the fighter behind them. Cannons roar. Fire tears through the night. The bomber erupts in flame and falls toward the sea. There is no cheering, no pause. The radar already shows another target. This is not a single duel. This moment is part of something far larger. If you want more stories like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and share. By 1942, the Pacific War had changed. Japan still controlled vast territory, and its bombers flew long distances at night. American bases on Guadalcanal, New Guinea, and later the Marianas came under constant night attack. Day fighters could not stop these raids. Anti-aircraft guns fired blindly into darkness. Commanders needed a new answer. That answer was a dedicated night fighter, not a modified aircraft, but a machine designed to hunt in darkness. American engineers focused on radar, a new advantage that could locate aircraft miles away even through clouds. The United States Army Air Forces demanded a twin-engine fighter capable of carrying radar, heavy guns, and a full crew. Northrop delivered the P-61 Black Widow. The Black Widow could fly at roughly 366 miles per hour and climb above 33,000 feet. It carried 4 20mm cannons and 4.50 caliber machine guns. A radar operator guided the pilot from behind, while a gunner controlled a remote turret. It was not built for turning dogfights. It was built to find, stalk, and destroy unseen enemies. In the Pacific, the need was urgent. Japanese bombers used darkness to strike airfields, supply dumps, and troop camps. Every raid damaged morale and slowed operations. The Black Widow promised control of the night sky, but early promise meant little without results. The first months were difficult. Pilots transitioning from single-engine fighters needed more than 100 hours of specialized training. Radar screens flickered and showed false contacts. Pilots struggled to trust instruments instead of their eyes. Accidents were common. Night landings went wrong. Engines failed on long patrols. During training alone, dozens of aircraft were damaged or destroyed. Combat results were also slow. Early patrols flew for hours without contact. Some crews fired on friendly aircraft by mistake. Japanese air crews mocked the effort. One captured report called the American night fighters blind elephants. Another pilot wrote that the Americans flew big machines and missed easy targets. Even some American commanders doubted the program. Reports noted that the aircraft was stable but slow to turn and required careful planning. Losses from accidents mounted, and critics questioned whether the effort was worth the cost. Experience slowly changed everything. Crews learned how weather affected radar signals. They learned to trust radar first and vision second. Pilots adjusted altitude and speed to match enemy bombers. The Black Widow's true strength emerged. Radar could detect targets up to 5 miles away. Fighters could approach unseen from below or behind. Short bursts from the heavy cannons often destroyed bombers instantly. Patrols lasted 4 to 5 hours, providing constant coverage. Teamwork became precise and calm. Radar operators guided pilots with quiet instructions. Pilots flew smooth and steady. Japanese bombers followed predictable routes, and once those patterns were known, interception rates increased. By mid-1944, some units averaged a kill every few sorties. Even when bombers escaped, they dropped bombs early or turned back. Confidence among enemy crews began to collapse. On July 9, 1944, over Saipan, a single Black Widow patrolled at 12,000 feet. After 3 hours airborne, radar detected 3 Japanese G-4M bombers approaching low over the sea. Using clouds for cover, the fighter slipped behind the formation. At close range, a 2-second burst destroyed the lead bomber. The second broke away in panic and was caught moments later. The third jettisoned its bombs and fled out to sea. The entire fight lasted less than 4 minutes. No bombs reached the island. In October 1944, over Leyte Gulf, resistance increased. 2 Black Widows flew a coordinated patrol at different altitudes. Radar detected a fast-moving aircraft, likely a Japanese reconnaissance plane. One fighter climbed aggressively while the others stayed low to block escape. The chase lasted 10 minutes through rain and cloud. When the enemy crossed beneath the lead aircraft, cannon fire tore it apart in midair. The mission never reached Japanese command. By March 1945, near Okinawa, night fighters protected the fleet from kamikaze attacks. Crews flew exhausted. Hands shook from fatigue. Radar operators fought sleep between contacts. One night, a fast, low contact appeared, heading straight for the ships. The pilot dove, engines screaming. Tracer fire lit the clouds. The enemy aircraft burned and fell less than 2 miles from the fleet. Sailors below never knew how close they came to disaster. Industry made this possible. By late 1944, more than 700 Black Widows had been produced. Radar schools trained operators continuously. Crews rotated to reduce exhaustion. Fuel and spare parts crossed the Pacific in vast quantities. Night fighters became part of a wider defense system that linked radar stations, searchlights, and naval forces. Japan could not match this scale, as radar technology lagged behind. Aircraft production suffered under bombing and shortages. Experienced crews were lost faster than replacements could be trained. American night fighters flew thousands of sorties and forced Japan to divert aircraft from other missions. Control of the night became an American advantage. The psychological impact was severe. Japanese pilots reported fear of sudden fire from empty sky. Some resisted night missions unless ordered. Bombing accuracy declined. One diary entry noted that darkness was no longer safe. Crews used slang names for the unseen enemy, calling it the shadow gun. Even when no fighters appeared, tension remained. Fear alone changed behavior, and behavior shaped outcomes. Late in the war, improvements continued. Radar grew more reliable. Engines delivered better climb. Crews refined tactics against faster targets. Some Black Widows shifted to night intruder missions, striking airfields and supply routes. The aircraft proved adaptable and effective even as newer designs were planned. By the end of the war, American night fighters had destroyed hundreds of enemy aircraft while suffering relatively low losses. More importantly, they denied Japan freedom of action after dark. Early doubts faded into respect. A captured Japanese officer later admitted that the night had become more frightening than the day. The Black Widow and its crews turned darkness into a weapon, and their legacy was control of the unseen sky.